Welcome to This Week in Jump, Episode 10, Part 2. We're going to jump right into Hell Warden Higuma. We're still in this flashback with Higuma's aunt and his father fighting the Molten Akagane. This is a cursed spirit that looks stoic, but his actions are completely counter to his expressions. He is really just out for himself. He apparently was a spirit that was working with Engetsu, but completely just betrayed whatever he said. Doesn't really care because he's out for himself. In that case, he spears through Haruma,
the aunt. But Engetsu's pissed.
Yeah, and Getsu, we see a new ability of his where his white smoke, kind of for mind control, turns into black smoke, and it even singes his ears to be a black charcoal-like color.
And he actually kills a couple of his fellow fugitive spirits.
Yeah, that were literally just checking up on him for orders.
Haruma tells Higuma to leave her.
Yeah,
that way he doesn't get involved.
Yeah, like, do you know who that is? Like, you don't need this kind of information in your head. You're supposed to grow up as a carefree child, and you don't need to fight. We see her character coming forward as, I just wanted to be a good aunt and not let you have these kinds of hardships. And she was willing to go up against the spiritual, essentially god in this sense.
Enma.
Yeah. King Enma, and try to break the line of subjugation. And she tells him something very softly in her last stand. She dons the Hell Warden's hands. They have a specific name for them.
They are referred to as these Zajui.
Zajui?
It's Zajiu. Zajui?
Zajui? Yeah. And
I think we're calling them Zaju, but I think it's Zajui.
She manifests two hands and she sends them forward to Higuma's father, Azuma, placing one on his back to kind of help him stay upright, and the other just full force fist to Akagane. He's surprised that she didn't die right away. But
ultimately they fail.
Yeah, ultimately they fail, and Haruma dies wearing her armor, wearing the Hell Warden's uniform. Even in her dying breath, she was still committed to that cause of the Hell Wardens in the family.
We see the transition between Higuma when he was 10 and then when he's currently fighting Akagane.
Yeah. Higuma's hand foot is still helping him stay upright. Obviously not able to run as fast as he normally should be, but he uses it to force himself to essentially throw himself forward, and is able to get that little bit of momentum forward to actually lop off the arm or the hand of Akagane, where we have seen before the slicing off the hands is nearing the end of that spirit's essentially life or part of this chapter. We have seen several chapters that end like this.
Yeah, where they cut off the hands and then they like disintegrate.
Yeah. So I really hope something like this happens, because Engetsu really is just...
I think he wanted Higuma to defeat Akagane, and that's why he's standing there watching very smugly and not doing anything to help Akagane.
Yeah, because he is no longer angry at Akagane. He essentially is using Higuma as a pawn.
Correct.
Like, get rid of this thorn in my side, and I can keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope either Akagane gets sent back to hell, or at least acknowledges Higuma's strength and gives him a couple more years until he will fight again. Number 10 is the elation. First page, still a flashback. I think that might be why I'm
Flashbacked out.
flashbacked out. It might be that I've just seen so many this week as well as last week that I just want them to be over with. I want to see what's going on now. At least for Neolation, I get to see that. I get to see what's going on now.
Yeah, because this is just wrapping it up.
Yeah, Tobari has her funeral service. Neo Arata is now in, I believe, high school. He's got his school uniform with his 2A on his collar.
I think that's a junior high uniform, isn't
Junior
it?
high?
I don't know.
It looks a little different than what he had before.
Hmm.
But I'll double check on that. So we cut back to Boogie, releasing information like, oh, tell me about Neo, tell me about this beast. And because they're birds of a feather, they're similar. I couldn't find her name.
Yuko.
Yuko states, he's nothing like you. Like, essentially, like, very, very bluntly, very standoffish. Like, Neo is kind-hearted. He helps people really when they need it. He's not just using us. Oh, yeah. He's not using us and throws us away. He helps us out, and we want to return the favor. As mutual friends, you can never do anything like that. You're too focused on money and your power, essentially.
Daigo is the same way. He just considers Boogie to be scum.
Yeah, which he is.
Yes, he is. Brother Ta, same thing. And they all surround Neo.
Yeah, and being, in front of him, having his back, protecting him in all his corners.
Yes.
Like, I thought that was really neat. And Boogie just, okay.
I'm gonna get in my car.
I'm gonna get in my car and leave. And he just thinks about, Neo and Gev. He still has his eyes on
Both
different beasts. He's still very much interested in both of them. See where we might see Boogie later on.
Yeah, probably.
So we just head back to the hideout.
Yeah.
And Neo immediately walks over to the sofa and just plops on down. Like, so what are you gonna tell us everything that's going on? Because, what is his name?
Daigo
notices his lip.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, he tripped. Like, tripped, huh? Okay. Well, what about this bullet hole that you're trying to cover up? Like, oh.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, like, what are you hiding? And essentially just saying that, yeah, someone...
Things are getting too serious, that type of thing.
Yeah, things are getting very serious because there's, bullet holes that he's just trying to cover up very nonchalantly. Daigo straight up just sucker punches him in the face. Like, don't be an idiot. Like,
Because he's trying to do everything by himself and not letting anybody else help him.
Yeah. And in that case, Yuko shows off that she's essentially learning some very neat looking martial arts. And I think capoeira. Because it just from the panel, it looks like she's making quite a bit of noise doing so as well. So she's able to do this with enough velocity to where, it would actually hurt someone. And she's feeling confident. Neo gets kind of angry, like, that kind of fighting's not going to help you against the gun.
Yeah.
Like it could at disarming, it could, as a distraction. But they're both still wanting to be there for Neo to help him out. They've done so much. Neo has done so much for them. It's only fair and fitting that they want to do that for Neo as well.
Mm-hmm. But what if I make you burst into flames?
Yeah,
Will you leave then?
Neo threatens his friends because he doesn't want them involved. And they purposefully place their phones in their shirt pocket as well as just holding it in their hands, close to their chest, close to their face. Like,
do it.
Like, do it. It's like, we're your friends and we know you won't do this. Like,
and then you see another little mini flashback of
that one's okay.
But and that's very common.
Neo smiles very genuinely. Like, it was very surprising to see smile with him seeing friends, people who don't see him as weird and accept him for who he is.
And are
for the most part. They don't want him to keep secrets.
Nope.
But that's about it.
But he's got what Tabari wanted him to have.
Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have My Hero Academia. The League of Villains is still working out their plans for fighting Makia, as well as dealing with the phone call that they received to talking about Giren, their contact, their supplier. And, Toga puts up a good point, like, oh, they might have killed him already, we're just walking straight into a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Twice just wants to go save him because he gave him a place to be. Like, Twice feels comfortable here. Even though he complains a little bit about what they're doing, he's still there, like, oh, you should leave. No, he'll never leave. And Shigaraki comes up with a plan to we're going here
where Dabi is. Yeah,
Shigaraki
asks him to ask the doctor to warp him over there to where Dabi is.
Yeah, because they're close enough to those prefectures to get to this location, to this town, maybe?
It's a town, but not a city.
It's still
a
decent size.
Yeah.
And, like, oh, why are we just going to walk right in there? Like, well, we're going to get there. We're going to fight and help Giren. But also, we're going to have Makia, Giganto Makia,
in the mix.
Fighting. Because he's going to come straight at
Shigaraki.
Me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to make sure we get as deep as we can so that he has to make a path to us so that we can get out if we need to.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend mentality.
They look at this town and it's pretty sizable. And they get caught on behind them by a hero.
It's the guy from one of the previous chapters with Bakugo and Todoroki when they were with All Might, and they're like, "Who did all of this?" It's the weird guy with the arrows.
Yeah, and he gives them a hug. He gives, so like, okay, this is why he looks familiar. Yes, it turns out he's part of the Liberation Force as well. Not his current. This isn't his current town. but today's an exception, and he lets others know in the area that he is part of them because he even gives the symbol,
The finger gun
the finger gun pointing straight up
from the forehead.
from the forehead. He, with a pure black panel, you know there's something ominous there to what he's doing.
You also see a person in a hero outfit on one of the roofs as they walk in because they notice that the town is desolate. There's nobody around.
Yeah, cities make noise.
Even towns make noise.
Yeah, towns make noise. If you haven't known from, the podcast.
Yeah, hearing cars go by. There's another one right now.
Leave that one in. Yeah. The League of Villains are actually welcomed here for making the trip on down so that they don't have to chase after them. And today's a day of celebration because they're starting, a festival. They're starting one of their plans for the liberation is the Liberation Army's revival celebration, and all these people show up out of the buildings nearby and start activating their quirks to attack them, to attack the League, because that's why they're there. They know this is a trap, so we're going to might as well get it out of the way and start attacking. And Shigaraki doesn't care that these other people know him. He knows these are all enemies. He doesn't give a second thought to immediately disintegrating two people and killing them outright.
Yeah.
That it's so small and insignificant to him that they just put a single panel for that. I think that goes to show how much
He's improved.
he's improved, as well as his ability to disintegrate, because we've seen him fight Eraserhead where he just broke down his elbow quickly.
He just mowed through these people.
Yeah,
It looks like he just ran into them and then they just disintegrated. They're disintegrating around him.
yeah, there's still pieces falling as he's going through. This is crazy. He might have actually
Powered up.
And for villains to power up, that's kind of scary.
I was gonna say that's a downside.
But it makes
for
it
heroes.
interesting.
Yes, it does. We
Yeah.
also have the fight with Toga or the start of a fight between Toga and Chitose.
And she can apparently make landmines appear.
Yeah, I was gonna say blowing up the ground. Either
So-
that, or she can make explosions on any surface that's within her purview. Because she's making a small box with her fingers.
It has a specific name, viewfinder.
There you go.
And like cameras have the viewfinders, she creates with her fingers a viewfinder, and she might be able to make those explosions, like you said.
Yeah, because I was thinking that it might be something like, remember Karasu from Yu Yu Hakusho?
Mm-hmm.
Explosions,
Yeah.
but they were like little demons that were just flying around, but you couldn't see them.
Yeah.
Unless Karama was able to tap into his Yoko form. Old Shonen! Next on the list.
Alrighty, next, Jujitsu Kaizen. So, we're done with the conference. Toto is gone. Conference is over. This is a brand new arc.
Mm-hmm.
We left off on some bad news where the villains essentially got what they came for. But we need to move on. We need to grow as students. And we need to do some jobs. So we start off with a regular, everyday dude that's stuck in this. It looks like it's a garage.
It's an apartment. Apparently the door was left wide open, so he's like, hey, I pay for all this money for the security. Why is the door open? And then all of a sudden you see a cursed spirit just appear behind him.
Yeah, and we immediately see that
Or just
he is the it's a
the
curse-
first
cur-
victim.
Yeah, it's a cursed spirit. We see that he is dead. This person that we just saw. along with 2 other people,
Mm-hmm.
and they all died the same way in different parts of town, saying the similar scenarios where there was an open door, they were not able to move from there, and their bodies were just mutilated there.
Mm-hmm. Turns into a murder mystery, or at least for this part.
Yeah.
And the only commonality is that all 3 of them went to the same middle school, and then they're going to go visit the only other person who knew those 3 people, but
Turns out that person as well has passed
ah, come on.
in the same way.
Ah.
So there are 4 confirmed deaths now.
Kill confirmed.
Yeah, and then we have some delinquents. We have
They go to that junior high.
they go to that junior high,
Yeah.
which is Saitama Urami East Junior High. Like Saitama is a pretty big area, so it's fair to say they have a couple of high schools and junior high schools.
Oh, considering it's the east one, yeah, that kind of
Yeah,
makes sense. I assume there's a west.
yeah. And what's her name? Red hair.
Nobara.
Nobara says, "Oh, let's just talk to those delinquents over there. We'll be able to get some information from them." Usually, predators have quite a bit more information. They're not dumb in that sense. They just look around like, "Huh, what do you want?" And they apologize for not greeting properly because they see Fushiguro.
Mm-hmm.
And I love these 2 pages where they're essentially the exact same.
Well, because Itadori and Nobara thought that they were bowing to them because they were in front.
Yeah. And they look
Confused.
menacing or
Oh.
in power. And, "Oh, we haven't seen you since graduation." It's like, yeah, this is my junior high. I was like, "Why didn't you say so? Like, you would at least fill us in on this." Like, "Oh, how do you guys know idiot A, idiot B? How do you know him? Like, why do you hold him in such high regard?" Well, he's beaten up almost every delinquent here. Yep, beaten to a pulp. Just says it very matter of factly, doesn't try denying it, just can't look at his teammates. Because this is embarrassing. It's a younger part of your history. So, yeah, you're embarrassed by some of the things that happened.
Yeah. They're noticed by a member of faculty.
And they see, different school uniforms. You're not supposed to be here, but
They have a permit to be there.
yeah, like they're there on business, so they're looking for information.
Most of this is just them learning from the faculty member that those students the ones that all the 3 people that died graduated 20 years ago, and that there was an incident where 4 of them were found underneath a bridge known for suicide. It's called the Yasohachi Bridge,
Where people were said to bungee jump from, and just have a thrill because these were kids that were doing bungee jump, tying knots. Of course, some of them would eventually snap off and just plummet down to their deaths. In this case, these were just found unconscious down there, but they could have easily just died right then and there. So they're going to see what else is going on there, see if they can feel anything else presiding over that bridge.
So now with that as their lead, they're about to leave, but the faculty member asks I always refer to him by his other name, Megumi. About his sister and how she's doing. She says she's doing good. Then we get back to the villains.
Yeah. The villains and their rewards, their spoils of war. What are they doing with them? Like, why don't... Essentially, they're thinking, why don't they just destroy these cursed objects? Like, why do they just keep them there? Like, well, it's most likely for research, or in certain instances, weapons that can be utilized in the right way. Maybe not now, but maybe later on. And you see...
Yeah, because you have Ghetto say that they can't destroy them.
Yeah.
Because Mahito's the one that's asking those questions. But he has the 3 wombs that they got. The death painting wombs.
Yes.
That's what those 3 jars are.
Then they still have, the different fingers there as well. They have a third party listening in, which is just a regular dude, is what it looks like. And he's pinned up to the wall with spikes in his hands. And he's in panic mode, like, do you want money? I don't have much, but I can take out a loan and give it to you. But no, we're using you essentially to experiment with these open wide, and places one of the womb cursed objects into his mouth, and it manifests inside of him as a disgusting looking cursed spirit.
It's a cursed spirit that is... it doesn't look that, like, big. It's probably about humanoid in height, but it has a face on top of a mouth.
It has two mouths.
Yeah, so it has like a complete face, and then below that you have like a large mouth underneath it, and it just looks unnerving. It looks like the eyes are supposed to be its nostrils or something, and it's missing its eyes, but the eyes are just bleeding.
Yeah, I got that as well. Like the huge nostrils where the eyes are. It's terrifying. It's simple,
But it's creepy.
It's creepy. I like it a lot.
And our heroes make it to the bridge.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Next up, we have The Promised Neverland.
You monster! Okay.
You'll see my reasoning why.
I'm pretty sure I'll see your reasoning, but
You might not accept it. is
yeah,
the other
that's
thing.
the other thing.
So we see the actual ritual and the information that led to the ritual's facts is that they went to several locations, which I believe these are the walls, correct? That they went to,
the 7 walls.
and they gathered information where they essentially saw demons receiving a liquid, a godly liquid, putting it into pitchers, into containers, using that with the specific flowers that were used that hold a significance in this world of when you take a life, you pierce this flower through the creature
And
to
it
drain it of
blooms.
all of its blood.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like vampiric flowers.
Yeah, definitely. They put that into the
Golden water with their blood.
yeah, and
And the moonlight.
and the moonlight to help these flowers bloom, because when they bloom, I think it only activates on Emma and Ray because it used only their blood,
Correct.
and they just instantly disappeared. No whoosh, no small transition effect. No, they are just gone instantly, and they apparate in front of a door.
Reminds me of the gate from Full Metal, with
Yeah.
just it standing there ominously.
That's exactly what I got as well. And there's writing, there's etchings on this door that essentially state they're in a different language than they know, but they can still understand these. That if you want to, there is no return once you go through this door. If you want to go back to where you were, enter the door the opposite way. They have resolved themselves to where they have to go forward. There might one of the seven walls states that it's completely just jet black. There might not be a way to return back, but it could be that pillar was actually blank and never got an answer. No one has returned from there to place what needs to be up there in that pillar.
Yeah, I guess, like, why would they go back again?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So, and they are there to try to meet with Carl.
Demon letters.
The demon
Can't read
demon
it.
letters can't read it. His name is Carl. Karl.
So they push through.
They push through, and I'm expecting to see a fantastic sight of this spiritual astral plane with Carl.
Psych.
No.
This is why, because you got your expectations subverted, because we have to introduce the Regent houses and understand the complexities of the royal bloodline and then the Regents to give them some personality before Norman comes around and kills everybody. Come on, man.
Yes, we have to know our enemy before we kill them.
Yes.
But I don't think we need to know that much about them.
Well, you have to, because they gave character to
Or they're starting to give character to the
Lord Bayon, the original one, the one who we saw in Goldie Pond.
Mm-hmm.
Now that his son is in charge, that means that he's going to have a vendetta against them.
Yeah, and Goldie Pond was, a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even from other regent houses.
Mm-hmm.
And they, because, they were of noble lines, these demons, these lords, know of them.
Yeah.
And they haven't heard of anything from them for a year and a half has passed. Since the previous Lord Bayon was killed by Emma, and
rumor
all of
has
them.
it the Archduke Louis, that brother to the throne, has also gone missing. I believe that was one of the other people that was there too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
So we learned
pretty
of
crazy.
like the different heads of each of these families, or
And
at least
they-
the current heads.
and they know they had to have checked in at some point and never did. They
Mhm.
had schedules that they were supposed to meet and never did. So like, okay, they're missing. We don't think they're dead because really, how can
Demons die.
how can our demons die? How can our nobility really just die?
Because they haven't established if they die of old age.
No, they haven't, which is
Another
also
question.
scary. But these demons have unique shapes, unique forms to them. You can't say one is similar to another in here. And we see all of them bow once a certain someone's presence is known. It is the Queen.
Queen Legravilma.
Yeah, I also capitalized all of it.
That's the easy way to keep notes.
Yeah.
To capitalize names and or important little anecdotes.
Yeah, and obviously has commanding power over them because she tells them, "You may look up at me," and she looks the most humanoid out of
All of them.
all of them. So she must obviously eat a lot of humans
She
of high grade.
She looks like what you would think of when you think of a queen from the 17th century.
Yeah,
Very prim and
embroidered
proper.
dress.
Hair done up. She just gives off that vibe.
Yeah, and you can see her hand.
Handmaidens too.
Her
And
handmaidens, also very
long,
humanoid.
pointy finger.
Yeah, long pointing finger to kind of, command or maybe is maybe like a
Retractable thing.
rapier, like where she can just slice off flesh or pierce through someone. Very good for going against any demons against her, because she can just
Hit their critical spot.
narrowly just pierce
Their masks.
their masks.
And that ends part 2. Come back for part 3 next time.